Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. Hi, GA from CA. We do have some breaking news we're going to get to right now. We go to Northport, Florida, and what we see on the map, this is Florida Highway 93, and it runs adjacent to pop it up just a touch here so you can see Interstate 75. I heard from the squirrels a short time ago. They have been somewhere in this area um, for over the past 3 hours. They are trapped on the highway in a traffic jam and getting information from Citizen Band Radio. And the information I got was a dam had broken and a 19-foot wave of water has washed away a portion of I-75, again, which we see here. And we'll zoom out a little bit. You can see there are a number of major waterways in this area, including the Peace River over here. And if a retaining wall broke off of this river, with the amount of water already in the area and the ground's being saturated, a 19-foot wall of water is not unimaginable. So while the initial report from the squirrels is that a dam has broken, I'm guessing, just because of elevation, that what we're going to learn is a retaining wall, which is indeed a small version of a dam, has given way, and a massive amount of water has rushed onto and over and through and destroying a portion of I-75. Not only that, but also 41. So somewhere in this area, I'm guessing from Northport to Murdoch, up here on Interstate 75. The squirrels and Honor are trapped in traffic and have been for quite some time. 40-mile traffic jam behind them, which they will eventually, be able to clear up by directing off of various exit ramps. But depending on how close you are to the actual event, you may be trapped there for a while. Of course, emergency medical services are going to be taking up a lot of bandwidth in the area. And so the squirrel service has been spotty. They have been putting out videos calling for emergency prayer requests. And that is the reason why. I'm not sure, we're live, obviously, so I don't know if they're back up or if they've been able to broadcast. But anyway, breaking news: somewhere in this area, a structure that was retaining water has given way, and a big enough wave was created that it destroyed a portion of 75 as well as a portion of 41. So the report was a 19-foot wave. I'm guessing it's possibly somewhere up in here. The Peace River, it might have ruptured, or one of the bigger reservoirs. As we zoom out, possibly. Well, it would have to be above 75 and come down, so it couldn't be anything below 75. So that's what's going on. The squirrels and Honor are safe, and I imagine Honor and Red Squirrel are probably going nuts, being trapped in a car for 3 hours. And if Freedom Squirrel is still keeping her patience, then she's probably on her way to sainthood. So they were sending out emergency prayer requests. We say namaste, shalom, shalom, assalamu alaikum, blessings in the name of the Most High and the Son Christ Jesus. And if you're of no faith, positive vibes and peace. So prayer requests go out in whatever form you may wish, if you are so inclined, because a lot of people are going to be impacted if this is as big as it is appearing to be. And if we do happen to hear from the squirrels as the show goes along, we will stop everything, of course, and let you all know. But this is breaking news. And with that being said, hello, thanks for watching. This is Late Night America on the American Doofus channel. And Brett Boyle is our scheduled guest tonight. Now, if the squirrels are up and broadcasting, he may be unavailable tonight. We may have to reschedule. This is a fairly significant event going on, and for those asking, what are the squirrels doing down there? The squirrels are down there trying to help. I clicked on one of Melanie's. I'm sorry, but it's not doxing, okay? But I try not to use people's real names. I clicked on one of Freedom Squirrel's streams, and right before I had to leave, and Red Squirrel was hopping out of the vehicle saying, "We're YouTubers," and carrying some gas to some lady. So they were out trying to help, and I imagine it could have been quite entertaining. But anyway, that's what they were doing. And speaking of that, I'm going to okay, I keep forgetting I got to go back over here. And Brett Boyle is here. Hello, Brett. We'll get you up here in just a minute. Thank you for being here. If you have questions for Brett, a $50 super chat will make sure that, no, I'm kidding. If you have questions for Brett, put them in the chat with question in front of it. Okay. I've given Byron Wyckoff a fair amount of joking, all right, poking fun at, in not in a malicious way, but so I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because the Wyckoffs are down there helping. They had the back of their truck loaded with cases of water, driving around in very hazardous conditions, and aiding people. So and I just happened to click on pause on one of their live streams where he's getting a bunch of buckets. So good on the Wyckoffs, and yet I got to take a little poke at the poop bucket thing. Anyway, the Wyckoffs are working in Florida. The squirrels are working in Florida. And what else is going on? Well, we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. First of all, let me check on breaking news around the what the mainstream media is saying should be very important to us. And the Independent's got Hurricane Ian. I've got some pictures and videos from that coming up here in just a couple of moments. Ron DeSantis changes with the wind, flip-flopping. That's a major overused term in in politics. That's like the political writers' easy way out. I'm not going to try too hard on this article. I'm just going to call flip flop. So I digress. Sorry. KXAN says, who won the Texas governor's debate? CNN Justice Jackson is going to be formally seated for the first time tomorrow or Monday as a junior justice on the Supreme Court. Hackers set Monday as a deadline for the LA United School District. Evidently, some hackers have taken control of all of the data for the LA School District. And Monday's the deadline to pay up, or the data is all going to get released on the dark web. And the school district has said, no, we're not going to pay, and we're not going to negotiate. And that was all at the behest of the local law enforcement. Hurricane Ian destroys parts of the Sanibel Causeway. So the Sanibel Island basically is cut off from the mainland and only now accessible by boat. As I said, I've got some shots from what the aftermath looks like. For those of you that ever been to Fort Myers, if you've been to Fort Myers, you know the Fort Myers Pier. That's what's left of it, basically. The cement pillars back here holding things up, the cement pillars all the way out, and everything else, including the buildings, are gone from the pier, as well as, what do they call this? Times Square, I think is what the locals call that area, if I remember right. It's been a number of years since I've been there. Here's a look at what was going on in Fort Myers, the amount of water that was coming up. We've got a time lapse coming up here in just a second. Another shot of just the amount of water. And then let me run over here to, not there. Here we go. Let me run over to here. And again, the pier. By the way, Reed Timmer, who we talk about on here, weather guy, he taped a sensor to this pier. And those of you that if you happen to watch Reed's channel, you know what I'm talking about. It was one of the most incredibly entertaining things to watch him trying to figure out how to tape it, and telling him a logical and effective way of taping things, and he didn't pay any attention. This is on Estro Island, one of the outlying islands just to the north of Sanibel, I believe, south of Sanibel. Okay, between Sanibel and the mainland. Fort Myers Beach. Look at the aftermath from the ground. Just incredible devastation. Another area in Times Square. Okay. And this is a time lapse of the water rising. So that's how serious things can become. Within just a couple of hours, the entire street is just flooded with 6 feet of water, and more coming in as each surge comes. And thankfully, we do have technology. We got radar, and we've got early warning systems, and you know uh, as many people died as would have if there hadn't been warning, if there hadn't been radar, if there hadn't been satellite images showing this thing coming and how big it really was. Um, because back before we had radar, back before we had these images, people often weren't aware of how big a storm was, or that a storm was even approaching, until it was just too late. And the loss of life was horrific in each individual storm. And for us to have advanced to the point we are, I think it's amazing, and I'm thankful for the emergency workers, the utility workers that are out there right now, trying to get power back to millions of people. And we often forget about that. We often overlook that. We go quickly to the one and the only, just a lazy gamer, and his headline is "Defender of Ants was not served," and 1776 restoration movement is coming to Indiana temporarily, it seems. So that's rather interesting. And watch Ants stream, of course, Defender of Ants, content king during all of this. And he was not served. And the way I understand it, the warrant, if there or the restraining order or whatever it was, didn't come from 1776. So who knows? Well, I mean, the authorities know, but as far as us out here, who knows? And Defender of Ants, if you know and you happen to be in here, man, pop up here real quick and tell us what all this is about. And if not, as always, monitor his channel. Go subscribe and hit the notification bell on his channel, so you know what's happening with them. And Anarchy Princess as well, of course, and Lori Arnold. And I have had some people ask, "Hey, you know anything about Lori? We haven't heard from Lori. Where's Lori?" Lori's okay. Lori's fine. Lori just hasn't been live streaming, but that doesn't mean she's not okay. And for those, and I'm sure she thanks you all for your concern, and she's okay. So bringing it back full circle before we bring Brett up here. Okay, let me get rid of this. And let me go back here. Once again, if you're just joining us, we had breaking news to start things off. Somewhere in the Newport, Florida area, the squirrels are on Interstate 75 in a major traffic jam that has traffic backed up for about 40 miles, which would be about here this way, and not even visible on the map. We're down a little longer. And it's because some sort of dam, it's going to be a relatively small dam, has given way. Reinforcement wall, retaining wall, whatever you want to call it, has given way, and a massive amount of water has rushed down and has made a portion of I-75 and a portion of 41, which runs right down through here. So they are somewhere probably right in this area as we have shown. And they are okay. Honor is okay. And we are updated. And let's bring up Brett Boyle. And again, thank you all for watching. Here we go. There we go. I'm going to see if we can do this. There we go. We got you on the big screen now. Let me see what happens here because I haven't done this before. Let me see if I click myself back up if we're both up there. Nope. Okay. All right. One at a time. And you need to be up there. There we go. Because somebody asked, they wanted to see what my, they wanted to see my reactions to things. But I can't do that on this software. It's just one at a time. So hello, I think you can see me. I can see you, but they can't see me.
I can't see you. I can only see me in both screens.
Okay. All right. Good.
I have another device looking at the chat too. I can just see me there.
All right.
Chat's hilarious, by the way.
The chat's hilarious.
Yeah.
I haven't even had a chance to say hi to the chat. I usually go through and talk to people individually, but with what's going on with the squirrels,
yeah, I wouldn't even probably try to attempt that. I just got off the phone with the squirrels like 25 minutes ago.
Can you update us?
Yeah, they were okay. It turned out that dam didn't actually break, but there was incoming flooding, so they were stuck in traffic. They had went. It took them, I think she said it was 40 minutes to go 1 mile or something like that, and they were like a quarter mile from the exit that they were supposed to get off on, but they weren't sure where they were going from there. And they were just warning people to stay away from Central Florida. And that's what they were trying to tell the Wyckoffs too, I guess, was to stay away from Central Florida. So, and that there was flooding going on there. I think they said it exits, what was it, 81, 181? I had a flurry of things going on there before coming on the show. So,
okay, all right.
Hi, by the way. Thanks for having
me. Hi, nice to meet you.
My sound's okay?
Yeah, you're good. Okay. I've seen your name in chat a few times, but but most of the time when I'm watching a stream, I'm like taking notes or watching what's going on, and I'll occasionally, peek over and lately I kind of let people know I'm in the chat if I'm, or I'm on the stream if I'm on the stream. But I don't try to, I don't get involved in the chats. So a lot of stuff has gone on in chats that I'm not aware of and haven't been aware of, but it's become like a complete different thread of this story. So let's go to the beginning with you. We've got time here. First of all, you're from Canada, right?
Absolutely.
All right. I was married to a woman from Canada for 18 years. And
I hope that doesn't reflect on me.
I had three of the greatest years ever, the other 15, no, I'm kidding. It was a year and a half. It was a year and a half that was great. And anyway, thank you for being on here. And were you part of the Canadian convoy? Is that kind of how you got working around YouTube?
No, actually, I did end up on YouTube because of the Canadian protests. I unfortunately wasn't able to go make it to Ottawa. I had work obligations, things like that. Man, it pained me not to be able to go though. Watching them leave Calgary was, it was just amazing. I worked that week. In that time, they had closed down the border. I lived just like 3 hours away from where the border blockade took place, and so that weekend, it was kind of I was talking to a friend, and there was a bunch of people that were going up to the Parliament building in Edmonton, which is about like 4.5 hours away from me. And but they were screaming for people to go to the border blockade, so I went down there instead. I grabbed another buddy of mine, asked him if he wanted to go, and he's like, "Yep, absolutely." He has a young daughter, so he was 100% for it. And yeah, it was an awesome experience. Like, just it was really otherworldly almost. Like all the live streams and stuff don't do the events justice at all. Anyway, was down there for the weekend. Was amazing. Came back for work. It's really kind of a rotation that happened where you'd have people come down for a few days, couple days, as long as they could spend, but then they would have to go back to work. But yet when they left to go back to work, other people were coming in. So it was a real big kind of a rotation of bodies. And
okay, what was the first of all, for those that are watching that didn't pay attention in school, Canada has provinces, which are not in no comparison to our states because they're well, most of them are really, really big.
yes, driving around with squirrels, I've really noticed that where it's like, wow, the states seem so small to go across. Like to drive across a province takes like an entire day at least, like depending upon the province. Like,
yeah, because Canada is stretches just the same area east to west, and even farther in both directions than the U.S. And what do you have? 12 provinces?
No, to like 10 provinces and like 3
10,
territories.
10 provinces. Okay, all right, that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, all right. Now, so what was the?
So I was like we came back to work the following week, and I had people that knew I was down there that asked me like, are you going back down? And I was kind of, I was like, oh, I can't really afford to. Like, I just, it costs money by the time you get your gas and food and smokes and like all that. Like, I'm trying to not take from them, but contribute what I can, right? Like, I'm trying to give, not take. So I was like, no, I'm not going down. Like, I can't afford to go, whatever. And there was a few people, including some people I'd done some work for, that were like, is that all that's stopping you? It was like, you just need a couple, like some gas money and shit. And I was like, pretty much. Like, and they're like, here, like they're like, here, go the hell down there. Like, at least somebody I know is there. Like, films, like, take some video. Like, just you can talk to me, and I know you're not going to bullshit me. I was like, oh, all right, like, fuck. So I kind of almost turned into like a proxy protester a little bit, but it's like, having said that, because it brings a negative connotation. I mean, there's, my neighbor was a single mom with like 3 kids who had a little car and animals, and she's like, I can't just afford to go down there. Like, she's like, no, like, here's $20. Like, please, like, just take some video and like show me what's going on. Like, I was like, keep your money type deal thing. What? Like, it's like, it's all good. Like, I had gotten a donation from a couple of customers, and it was like, wow, like, it was basically what it cost me to go down there prior. So it was like, all right, like, if that's what you guys want. So, and that's how I ended up on YouTube, was basically, instead of taking this video and sending it to a whole bunch of people and just chewing up data, because data is a streamer's nightmare, right? I ended up shooting some video, like uploading it to YouTube, and then like shooting these people off the link. So, and then I ended up at the last time I stayed down there until I didn't get down to the actual blockade at Coots. We weren't allowed that far. We had a secondary blockade at Milk River, which is about 10 miles back from the border. And yeah, we had a secondary blockade there, and that's as far as they made it to. But when that got broken up, I came back to home to go back to work, etc. And I ended up doing up a video just about one of our politicians who was openly breaking the rules of our parliament, and it got picked up by somebody who went viral during Ottawa, and he gave me a shout out. And that's kind of what put me on the YouTube map. I ended up starting modding in a few freedom channels, and I had my own channel, and Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I
Okay.
came into the
Well,
YouTube world. So I'm still relatively new, but I'm a quick learner
okay.
apparently.
what what was the blockade about? What I mean, what were you blockading? Were you blockading American trucks coming in? Were you blockading Canadian trucks going out? What was
Yeah,
the blockade about?
the borders was closed both ways.
Okay.
Whereas they had, yeah, there was the farm equipment that saw come back from Coots was just, I was shocked. Like it was pretty impressive, really. Like the amount of farm equipment and the size of it, and just because we sent them off, there was we stayed at our backup blockade when they decided to stand down. Uh, there was some bad press, and a lot of people feel a setup that happened. But there was recognized that it was kind of tainted, and because it was tainted, that the right thing to do was to stand down and withdraw, and so that's what they did, and we
Okay.
sent them back. Like they convoyed back through Milk River there, which I said is like 10 miles back up the highway from where from the actual border is, and the farm equipment that came through was just incredible. And yeah, so our whole trucker and farmers, the farmers played a huge role in the Canadian protests. It's all about the mandates, medical discrimination and coercing of medical treatments in order to participate in society. I mean, we as a Western democratic nation, we don't do that. We don't practice that medical discrimination. Like we don't coerce medical treatments. Like we shouldn't be doing that. That's why we hung Nazi doctors. That's why the Nuremberg Code exists. Like we have to be and do better than that. And yeah, we have our rights say that we can come and go freely out of the country, and unless we submit to a medical treatment in order to you know basically you're forcing compliance in order to live life, like that's not right. So yeah, the truckers, the farmers got together, convoyed to Ottawa, started shutting down the borders. We were a little late to the protest party of the world, but Canada definitely made a splash.
Yeah, we heard about it, no doubt. Uh, so you mentioned some things there, and some people have said, you're kind of a scoundrel in some people's eyes on the internet with some of your views, and we'll get to those in a bit. But let's get back to you being a mod. Let's start there.
Sure.
Okay, you said you had some insight
I
into
have a lot of
things.
insight. a lot.
Well, all right.
Um, so
It's
actually,
your
like
it's your
I did,
floor.
I did some bullet point notes too.
That's
So
fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
just to make sure I'm kind of staying on track. So if I might like look over and refer to them once in a while. So yeah, as I alluded to, I have my own channel, and I did the Canadian freedom thing, and I've bought it in a number of Canadian channels, not a number, but a few. Um, and yeah, I was in Squirrel's chat one day, and she was having some problem people in there, and she was like looking for a mod or whatever, and she asked like, I need a freaking mod, like whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm modding a few channels. And she's like, here you go. Like, please, like, can you mod this for me? And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I got you, Squirrel. And, this was long before, this is before, just right before Big D and Squirrel got into their thing or whatever. Like it was, and as soon as like Big D and like committed violence, like he should have been kicked out for sure of the movement. Like you can't have people around that are going to be doing the violence, right? And
Okay.
at that
So
at that point, I got a lot closer, and like I was given my wrench actually at Squirrels specifically to moderate, not because I was a friend or she
yeah.
thought my name was funny. Like I was actually given a wrench to do the moderation. So
Okay, and just for timeline
yeah,
purposes, we're talking about back during the convoy.
yeah, this is yeah
Okay. All right. Okay.
before they went for their daughter's graduation and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And so yeah, they went home. They did things. We hung out on Squirrel's channel all the time. Like there was usually a lot of fun. Just lots of times it was them. One thing about the Squirrels is they actually live stream themselves working. for all these people that hate them in the chat and go and drift, like fucking, we'll get to that. They actually live stream themselves working. So that's, at least they're doing something honest, not like a lot of other people who are hiding and drifting and shit. Like, it shit blows me away. So anyways, Squirrel Chat was pretty fun. They would do their little missions, etc. It came up that they were going to do, they had something bigger planned. They were doing a mission, and they warned us mods, it's going to be big, and you guys are going to take an absolute shit kicking. And it was like, it was basically like they said, like, if you, like, we understand if people don't want to take part. And we all joined up and said, yep, nope, we're all in, like, well, let's do it. So we commenced. It was weird because just prior to that, I had discovered and learned, and I made a very public scene about it, that yes, like Jennifer just posted some donuts in there, that they were joining up and teaming up with the Doe Show, and I freaked because I've been featured on the Doe Show before. Did not like that character. I recognize him for what he is, and I blew the whistle and was like, "This is a very bad idea. We cannot partner up with this channel. We cannot work with this channel. They will backstab us like at the first chance they get. They're not into the freedom movement. Like, it's just a bad idea." And they convinced
Okay.
me
All
to,
right.
they
All
convinced
right.
me to let it go. I decided to, it's like, okay, for the greater good, I'll let it go. I will not attack the Doe Show. I will just let that shit go for the greater good, for the squirrels, for what we're planning on doing with, like, bringing down the 1776, because that should not be the face of the freedom movement in the US. They were pushing people away from the freedom movement worldwide. Like, people in other countries would, like, look up freedom movement on the freaking, on Google it and shit like that, and they would see the 1776 and their preaching and their, oh my goodness, it was just the grifting, like, it was just terrible. The begging for money and the, oh my, it was just horrible. They were driving people away. So yes, on board, take down 1776. I went there with the squirrels.
You mean as far as being online?
Yeah, as a mod,
Yeah.
I went there. I wasn't modding in the other channels.
Okay.
After we got there and they met up with some of the other channels, like, Ant and Lori, etc. I was asked to come over to Lori Arnold's channel to mod, specifically to mod. There was myself and Dan Kiawi, Daniel Smith. Us two were specifically asked if we could help in Lori's channel mod. Sure, no problem. Ant, I was asked to mod in Lori's channel. In Ant's channel, I was in there one day, and I'd said prior, I was laughing. I was like, I don't, because Ant didn't have mods, and I was laughing. I'm like, I don't really, just with getting the feel of how Ant ran his channel, I was like, I really don't think his channel would be that hard to mod. It actually seems pretty straightforward how he wants it. And I was in his chat one day, and there's like people freaking all ripping me up or whatever, and somebody had said to him, like, mod Brett. And the next thing you know, I had a blue wrench in Ant's chat, and I just started freaking laughing. Like, it was so funny. Like, they're just all freaking out. I was just, like, literally laughing. And to mod is actually pretty straightforward. So, like, Ant's channel, for example, he had his specific rules. So he had in his channel that in his chat he didn't want abortion talk, J6 talk, and like the whole right versus left, like the J6 election stuff, and the whole like right versus left thing. Those were the three things he didn't want in his channel. And like, give him a couple freebies, give him a warning or two, time them out, like, etc. Repeated offenders, like, just hide them after it's too much. Okay, like, that's his rules. So, it's somebody would come in and like Jennifer Ruby, for example, from the People's Port, she came in one day and there was something playing in the background, and she made a religious reference, and I said, like, I swore, and I was like, hey, you can't, like, F and do that here, like, please don't have that in the chat. And I didn't remove the comment, I didn't time them out, just like gave her a warning, just like let them know. And like, she freaked out or whatever. And it's like, I'd have to remind people, like, it's not my rules. That's the channel owner's rules. Like that was Ant's rules, not mine. Like if it was my channel, because I have a channel, remember, I had a channel way before I was heck of a mod anywhere. That if my channel, I would have ignored it. Like it wouldn't even have registered. No big deal. Like I wouldn't even have given a shit or cared. Sorry, and but it's not my channel. It's his channel, so he doesn't want that here. So I gotta say, please don't have that here. Like it's a really straightforward thing. So these people that are just whining about, oh, like the mod kicked me out. Like no, like you violated the rules that you were warned about, and like, what do you want from me? It's his rules. Like complain to Ant. Like, and he honestly, Ant had like, you'd be surprised at how many, because Ant like self mods his channel quite a bit, and he hid lots of people from his channel. Like there was times I was just sitting in chat laughing as he's like going through and hiding all these people, and it's like I'm giving them a verbal warning, and he's like hide, hide, hide. I was just dying. So like to say that it was just all me is totally absurd. So, anyways, in the sense
All
of
right,
time,
all right.
I got
want
asked to
to
go over to. Yep, you what? Sorry.
I want to insert something here. Okay.
Yep.
I have nothing against the Doe Show or anybody. I'm a neutral platform,
Sure.
and I just want to remind everybody that all the opinions expressed,
Oh, okay.
are not those of the host or the channel, because we're just getting started here, kind of. So,
So then I was, in the meantime that I'm like doing this, I was also asked to mod in Lori. So I was going and giving a hand over there. Her channel wasn't quite as active as Ant's. And all this while, I'm also still modding for Squirrel the whole time. Squirrel had a really, really, really bad problem with mods. And it wasn't me. Like I was actually the mod that was trying to keep the shit together and warn what was going on, and like it was just so a Tennessee Patriot. Yeah, that guy. He started his channel because of the squirrels. He was a mod for the squirrels. He got his channel going. The squirrels helped him. We all helped him. We pumped his channel. We all subscribed. Like we helped him get it all going. Turns out he didn't agree with the squirrels in their 1776 run. So he's the one, he went all rogue mod. He started like blocking all kinds of people that were just like supporters of the channel, just anyone and everyone. And it was a big problem. So it was like, okay, like she ended her stream and trying to do damage control, like get people to email in if they were blocked or whatever, like, and get people unblocked. And it was just damage control. She goes back live again. She took away his wrench. She goes back live again. And he had a second account with a wrench. And he starts doing it all again. And like, it was just terrible. So, because he waited until a good time to do it. It was horrible. She had to go through and unblock everybody. Lost his wrench. He then went on a big tirade about how just all these false lies and accusations. It was just brutal. Mod problem number one. That was a big problem. That's just the first mod problem.
Okay, is that what a rogue mod does? Just goes in and just
does whatever they want.
Does whatever they want with the powers that they have. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
All right. Just so I got the definition straight, I acknowledge it's the American Doofus channel. I don't know everything.
Oh no, that's all good.
And I ask when I don't know. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd rather you ask questions so everybody's clear. That's all good, man. So yeah, that was mod problem number one, was this Tennessee Patriot going all rogue, like lying. It was just, he since then he's attacked his own mods, and oh my goodness, that guy's a problem. Yeah, he just attacked Agnes and Mechanic Eric too, like just ridiculous. So that was mod problem number one. Meanwhile, while this is kind of happening, going on, just shortly thereafter, in Lori's channel, I noticed some new mods come in. It was really strange. I was noticing that the mods actually had control of her channel. So like I was noticing that like she would be out in front of her camera protesting, like not even touching her phone. And like there was like administrative duties that were happening, like where people were being made wrenches and stuff. Like somebody would come in and be made a wrench, but yet Lori wasn't even touching her phone. So clearly somebody had remote access to all of her login information and was an admin of Lori's channel. So I'm noticing new mods in Lori's channel, and just it was like really weird. And then the one night I went in, and like because I'd taken a big sleep, I'd slept for like 6 hours, I had woken up in the like midnight. Lori's on live streaming, so I go in there, and there was however many people in there, a couple hundred, and there was not a blue wrench in sight, like not a single one. And I was like, oh damn, I'm like, oh shit, like okay, like whatever, just start doing mod stuff, like whatever, like delete a comment, like give a warning, like yeah, it really wasn't that bad. And then Buddy was all attacking mods or whatever, and like I'd asked him to stop or whatever, didn't stop or whatever, and he eventually got timed out. And it was like, stop with the attacks, like just like reevaluate your approach here. And when I did that, all of a sudden a mod showed up and said that, oh, there was no mods attached. And it was like, I'm sitting there looking at the chat where it's happened, where it's a direct attack on mods, and I'm like, what is this mod talking about? Like, it's like literally, I'm literally looking right at it. And then all of a sudden another mod and another mod and another mod. And all of a sudden there was a whole fucking whack up. Sorry, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear, but all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of mods, and they were all coming down on me because I was like doing mod things. And it was like, you're not supposed to be modding tonight. You're supposed to be letting everything go, and like, don't mod the channel. And Lori doesn't want mods anymore. And I was like, whoa, like I was specifically asked to come to this channel specifically to moderate. Like, if you're going to give me crap for moderating and you're going to publicly embarrass me like this, and I don't like the direction the mods are going with the channel, like, because clearly they're running it now, then I don't want to be here. Please take my wrench. And I turned in my wrench at Lori's. I did it very publicly. I did not go rogue. Nothing. I didn't cause any problems. Turned it in, and yeah, it was just so Lori's channel. Lori's not currently in control of her channel. Her mods have remote access. Her mods clearly are, shoving donuts in her ear and influencing her as to what to do, and it's crazy. Like,
well, hold on just a second here
sure,
before we get to
sure.
Ant there. I mean, I hear this from a lot of people, and I'm going to ask if it's okay with Lori. What's it to everybody else?
If Lori wants to let her Dosho mods run her channel, she totally can. But I don't want any part of it. Hence, I turned in my wrench.
Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I turned in my wrench there. Yeah, for some reason, she likes to tell people it was taken away, but it was not taken away. I very publicly asked for them to take it, and I turned it in.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I have do you want me to go to ants, or do you want me to go to squirrels? I got to go to squirrels, actually. I got to go to squirrels because shit went down with squirrels. Mod problems there at the same time, because I kind of, after I recognized the bigger influence that the Dosho was having, I basically, because of the shit the stuff that went down on Lori's, etc., I basically said not to Squirrel, but to a couple of the Squirrel mods that I was like, I was pissed off, and I'm gonna wage war against the Dosho. And the moment that I said that to those mods, instant freaking war on me, where all of a sudden I was just like public enemy number one in those mods' eyes. Like, it was really, really crazy. They were very, very open. Like, in the back chat, they're very open about what they're doing. Back chat being like private chat, private messaging that's behind the scenes. Yeah, so like Celtic Mutt, he was being like timed out, and they were all laughing about it in the behind the scenes chat, and like I wasn't the one timing him out. I did maybe time him out one night for one time, but it was like they were like continuously timing him out, like stacking the time up for like a half an hour type deal thing, and then laughing about it. and it was not me. But yet they were telling him that it was me. They were hiding him from the channel and telling him that it was me, and like it wasn't me. And I have all the receipts to prove it. Like I was watching it happen, and I was just shaking my head. And then I did a video. I literally called it receipts, where it shows that it's Ashley, who also goes by Exposing. It was Granny Sue, and it was Dan Kiawi. Those were the people that were timing out and hiding Mutt. And I put up the receipts to prove and show it. It wasn't me, even though they were all telling him that it was me. And then so he made this big video attack against me. He was like, it's crazy. Oh, the same old song and dance, he says. Well, sorry, Mutt, but like he goes on to make videos about me being a rogue mod and I'm hiding him from the channel. And then he all of a sudden, and I saw you call him out on it the other night when he was making wild accusations. He made a wild accusation that I was like part of ISIS, and like I was teamed up with what was it, Oreo? I think he said I was teamed up with Oreo and we were partnered up with ISIS, and like the guy's a freaking Looney Tunes. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I wanted to come on your show, is because he was on the other night. It's like, that's who you're going to talk to about mods and rogue mods. And like, you know, if he's getting a platform to air his ridiculous nonsense, and it's like, can I set the record straight? So
Yeah.
anyways,
And that's
so Celtic
that's
Mutt
what
was
you're here
relieved of
for.
his Celtic Mutt was relieved of his wrench at Squirrels. I had nothing to do with it. I don't think he deserved a wrench, but it was, you know, uh, Ashley and Daniel and Granny Sue, who were all like, take his wrench, demod him immediately, da da da. They, yeah, Mutt got his wrench taken away because of them. He was hidden from the channel because of them, and he keeps getting told that it was because of me, and it's a total outright lie. Nah, piss off, Mutt. You can come up after I'm done, or you already were up and spewed your crap. This is my retort, bud. So yeah, crazy stuff. So this is a huge mod problem number two. Was Mutt and like these interactions. And I put out this receipts video. Well, it turns out the Doe show, they don't want me modding for Squirrel anymore because I'm against the Doe show. He's got his infiltrators into the channel, and there's, you know, he's like making donations to the channel. So there's some money that's coming into play and like control issues, right? And you know, the Doe show doesn't like to be told piss off. So
Okay, hold on just a second.
yeah,
Now you said that you had to have money coming in to make your second trip down to the blockade. So you understand that
I
it
didn't
takes
ask for it, but yeah,
I
I
know, but
understand. Yeah,
you understand the money's
yeah, yeah.
needed, and the squirrels need money to keep
Okay.
doing
Do you want to know
what
a
they're
big difference
doing.
though? But there's a big difference where the people that gave me the donation money to go down there were like, here, just film whatever and send me the video back. What they didn't do were like, you need to go do this specific like task that I want you specifically to do, and I want you to engage this person, and I want you to say this. There's that
And
kind of
that's
exerted control. And that's what
you
the Doe
think
show was doing, was exerted control over what the channel itself was doing in regards to squirrels. There was
they were
exerted control. And that
the
didn't happen when I got donations. So there's a big difference there.
okay, all right, okay, but um, you're
Are you
saying
okay
just to
if I
be
smoke?
clear, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
you're saying just to be clear,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the Doe show was instructing the squirrels on where to go, what to say, right?
Yeah, definitely. There was times in chat where you could see him giving instructions. Yes. I saw
Okay,
that.
and you're
I
saying
saw him in chat doing that as a mod. Just being in chat, you can see that. Like they're not
okay,
hiding it. That's the brutal part. Is they're quite openly like you can see. Yeah, they're quite openly posting their donuts and doing their things. Like in Mutt's videos that he did, he's opening donuts. Like in his and he premieres a video, and in his live chat, it is all literally Doe show people posting donuts. But yet we're all supposed to believe that the Doe, and it's like the previous Squirrel mods. And like we're all supposed to believe that the Doe show had nothing to do with anything though, and it's just coincidence that these are all just Doe show fans. Like, come
okay,
on. So
okay. So
coincidence. So yeah,
you're
Carl.
it sounds like your problem. You got a major problem with the Doe show.
I have a major problem with a lot of people. And the Doe
Okay.
Show is just one of many. So same thing with Carl, because they manipulate and use people for entertainment purposes, and I don't like that. That's not for me. I that's
Well,
that's
and
not, to me, that's not a good person. If you have to manipulate and use people and tear people down and apart for entertainment, you're not a good, decent human being. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. And so to me, Carl and Doe are just two peas in a pod. They both
okay.
are guilty of the same thing. They manipulate and use people for entertainment.
Okay.
It's
All
not
right.
okay.
Well,
And
I'm
having been featured on both channels, it's all good. So
okay.
yeah, so it turns out mod problems with squirrels. Yeah, Celtic mutt, clearly a mod problem. The mods that were handling mutt were clearly a problem. I did the receipts video. You can go to my channel. The video's labeled receipts. I provide the receipts. One of the only channels. Oh, Kaiser's mama. That's what spurred it. Kaiser's mama. She tried to do a receipts video on me, which was hilarious. They were trying to say I was threatening them, and I like paused her video frame for frame just so I could read through, because I knew what I had said. I'm like reading through it, and there's like literally no threats. Like you can tell I'm angry, and there's lots of caps, and I'm like, WTF are you doing? And like, I was clearly pissed off, but certainly no threats, like none. I went through it frame by frame and paused each one. I just laughed where they're like, "Oh, he's threatening us," and we have the receipts, and like they didn't have squat, and they were making up crap. So it turns out these mods that were hiding mutt and stuff from the Squirrels channel, they also, the mod Ashley was got to into the position of being an admin, so she could actually run Squirrel's channel remotely, like somebody else was doing on Lori Arnold's channel, without Squirrel actually doing it. So now a mod has entire access to the channel, can make mods, delete mods, make admins, give out the information for the whole entire channel, all the sign information, etc. And she turned around Ashley and like unblocked a whole bunch of people. She made Kaiser's mama an admin. They were wrenching and unwrenching people. It was just an absolute and just unbelievable. And making fake accounts, like they got caught making fake accounts. That's actually how they got caught, was making fake accounts. It basically as if they were other people. Like they made one of me. It's quite actually concerning, the extent that some of these people will go to infiltrate and manipulate and use people for entertainment and just tear people down and rip people apart. I mean, these are the people, these are the reasons why you can't have nice things. So they finally got caught. In the meantime, the Doe Show had threatened Squirrel, saying, "Hey, if you don't kick Brett out as a mod, then all this like these other mods, and they were admins and stuff, were going to be like leaving her, and he'd stop making donations." And so they kicked me out, but they brought me back. They very much apologized. They very much apologized very publicly. They actually, the day they brought me back, had a whole live stream welcoming me back, explaining the whole story, going over it in detail, and basically saying, like, really sorry, we recognize now that you were actually trying to warn us, and you actually were like looking out for our best interests, and like, yeah, it wasn't me that was any rogue mod at any point in time. Not in Squirrel's channel, not in Lori Arnold's channel, not in Defender of Ants channel. I was
Oh,
like the last person that was any kind of rogue mod. And Squirrels will tell you that. Like, I got plenty of channels that would tell you that I'm not that. Like, yeah, there's people that call me their favorite mod. Like, because Vaughn Michelle would not be doing what she's doing with her channel right now if it wasn't for me and how I mod. Because she was a 1776 fan, a WYSIWYG fan, an Oreo fan. She came into the channel absolutely spewing total hatred. And instead of just blocking and banning like so many others do, it was verbal warning, time them out again. Like, you really need to settle down. Like, when I time people out, I tell them that I'm the one that timed them out and why. Like, you need 5 minutes to rethink your approach type deal thing, or whatever it may be. And because of the modding and because of the communication, I think I was Vaughn Michelle's like first or second subscriber. And she came around to the Suicide Squad team simply because of interactions and modding. So it's, I mean, she kicked me out of her channel yesterday because apparently she's getting too much donut dick in her ear too, the same as Ant is and Arnicky Princess is. And the Dojo's been a real problem in the behind the scenes manipulations. You know, Kaiser's mama, I see you, you know, Wizzy's terrible. Like, it's really crazy. And you know, I see there's so many my fans in the chat. I knew there'd be lots of cheerleaders in here tonight, so I do thank you for the chance to come up.
All right, man.
Yeah, I don't have to go. I have if you have questions or anything you want to know, but that's, you know, there's all these accusations that I'm a rogue mod, and I'm totally not. And I had the receipts to prove it, unlike everybody else who just has false accusations. Like Kaiser's mama the other day in chat saying, "Oh, Melanie's sleeping with Squirrel." Like even Ant had a laugh at that one. Like, holy crap! I'm in a whole other country. Like these people are off their rockers. Like it's just absolutely nut jobs. But so that's, yeah, kind of the inside of the counter protesters. There's, you know, there's a whole bunch. You know, you got Ben Devitt hanging out with Ant the other night down at the J6 thing there. So it's, I mean, clearly the donuts are really close and inside Lori and AP and Ant channels, and that's who you're supporting, and you're basically supporting the destruction of the freedom movement by supporting those channels now. Because if you listen to them, they're the Ant and AP and Lori, they aren't talking about any kind of freedom movement at all. Like nothing even remotely close to that. Like, you know, and there's Carl posting donuts now. Like it's, you know, I don't like 1776. I don't like the counter protesters. I know there's a lot of Americans that feel the same way. Basically, it's but both of those sources of content need to be drowned out and go away for something bigger and better. There's definitely other people that deserve to be given a chance to be doing getting some of the freedom spotlight and not have this drama nonsense be the center of it. Nah, Ant.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions.
Sure, man. What do you got?
That have been sent in, and then we'll take a couple of questions from the chat. Again, put question in front of your question in chat. All right.
Good luck reading that. It's going by pretty good.
First, oh, is it? Yeah, I'm not on there. I'm over here at my Gmail page. Okay, first question. Why did you break Robert Escobar's heart?
Robbie. Robbie, I gave you ample opportunity. I asked you to come on my panels. You were allowed on my chat forever. I tried and tried. And yeah, I tried, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's not, yeah, like I can't just allow you to be part of the problem. Like, unless you're going to be like, there was no attempt to be part of the solution whatsoever. So even through ample opportunity in olive branches, I'm sorry. I told you that day it was the last hurrah, and you didn't believe me.
Okay. We talked about the number of provinces in Canada and how different each of them are. And I've got an article here that was sent to me that says Alberta adopts a working definition of anti-Semitism amid hate and violence.
That's nice.
Is that, I mean, is that factual? Is that going on in Canada, or is that, you know, propaganda? What is that? This is, you know, this is your chance.
I'm not familiar with that, so I can't really comment on something that I'm not familiar with.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it seems, that said, it seems these days that if you say like free Palestine, you're like, oh, you hate Jews, you hate Israel, you're anti-Semitic, blah, blah, and people are brainwashed and conditioned to have these knee-jerk reactions. So I am pro-Palestine. If that's considered anti-Semitic, then the people that think that are pretty dang stupid. But
Well,
Palestinians are Semitic people.
okay. We may have to. We've already gone over an hour. We may have to have you back again and talk about that aspect of things. But you
I've
can.
actually been meaning to talk about that on my own channel too, and because I know there's a few
That's
people that
what I
want
was
to
going to
have that
say.
conversation with me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I've been thinking
But
about having that talk on my own channel because I do have a couple people that want to talk to me about that. So it's all
but you
good.
can.
I don't shy away from it.
Okay. When you say free Palestine, what are your thoughts on what the Israeli government has recently put out about having a two-party or two-state solution, securing the existing territory for Palestine, and
I mean, it's a nice
and the
pipe dream. Traditionally, the Israeli government has never kept their word on anything. I mean, they've never even declared any borders to acknowledge. The Israeli government has never declared any borders in their whole entire history since 1948. So if they refuse to acknowledge their own borders or Palestine's, who's mostly ethnically cleansed now, like there's very, very little of it left. I mean, if you look at maps from, say the Balfour Declaration of 1917, you look at maps prior to that, it's all Palestine. Like, it's in the past 100
right,
years. You
yeah,
look at the present day, you know, just over
yes,
100 years later, just over 100 years later, and it's like, tiny little speck here, tiny little speck there. I mean, the propaganda says that, Palestine wants to push Israel into the sea and nothing, like push Israel off the map. And in reality, it's Israel pushing Palestine off the map. And it's less and less and less and less of Palestine, more and more and more and more of Israel. And it's ethnic cleansing. It is textbook definition ethnic cleansing. And I do not support ethnic cleansing, and I don't care who the heck is doing it. Who is doing it is
okay,
irrelevant. I'm against ethnic cleansing.
all
It's
right.
really that simple.
That's pretty straightforward. Now, does that you're gonna hear this on your own channel? Does that
Uh,
mean that you want Israel destroyed?
Um, well, I can say that I have the Jewish text. Sorry, I'll start that again. I have the Jewish religious texts that state quite openly that Jews were supposed to be exiled and forbidden from gathering and forming a Jewish state. And they're supposed to await Yahweh to come and collect them from exile. And then, after they've been collected from exile, then Yahweh will provide for them the land that Israel, who was a person, in religious texts, never a place, walked on. And that hasn't happened. Yahweh hasn't come to collect the exiles that are the Jewish people and provide for them any land. Like that hasn't happened. So yeah, I don't want to get too much into it with bringing problems to your channel, but I have my own strong feelings towards Zionists who are very much counter to Jews. They're two different things. Um, yeah, one is reaching more of an extremism kind of leaning. Jews know they've been exiled. They call Palestine the Holy Land. Like they await Yahweh. That's why there's the saying next year in Jerusalem, because they're awaiting Yahweh to come and collect them from exile. Like I'm very familiar. I've studied the whole story in pretty great depths and details. So that's why I've formed the opinions I have and say the things I do and etc. So I
Okay,
don't think that Zionists have the right to ethnically cleanse Palestine at all. It's absurd to think. That's like saying everybody from Roman times has the right to go ethnically cleanse the land from like Italy to the UK because Rome once ruled that land for a brief blip in human history. That is absurd and extremism to think
all
that
right,
would even be possible or happen. Like that's just crazy talk. So I
okay.
don't
You
think that it's
you
good.
you don't think that Israel should remove the Palestinians from the territory? Do you think the Palestinians should remove Israel from the territory? Just a
They
simple
don't have the
yes or
power
no.
to. They don't have the power
I
to.
Okay. I know they don't have the power to, but
What I think is irrelevant.
okay. All right.
It's
All right.
never going to happen because they don't have the power to do that. So
All right. Then Last couple of things. Anything you wanna get out that we haven't touched on yet?
Um, I covered a lot of my points that I could really think of off the top of my head, just looking at my notes real quick. You know,
All right.
the behind the scenes players, I don't think a lot of people in chat, you know, there's of course you see Lori and Defender of Ants and all those people in there because they're freaking channels I'm talking about. So I don't doubt that they're having a conniption fit right now, but I don't think the people in chat that support those channels really kind of fully understand that there's really been a huge behind the scenes happening of people that have been giving them money, people that have been infiltrating them with mods, providing influence into the channels and control over the channels. They're the ones that are manufacturing, literally manufacturing the content that they're watching. And it's really set up and contrived sometimes. And I really don't think that a large portion of the chat really understands that. And I really think it's too bad because, you know, taking down the 1776, it could have been a really good thing and given way to a really big, you know, much more free and open, like yeah, to expand a little bit on me for a second, I'm actually, you know, I consider myself a little bit more of the worldwide Freedom Fam Jam. Like I actually, you know, hang out with a lot of Australians. You know, we have Finnish people and people from Scotland, and like my channel is like very, very, very like global. We have a huge global presence, and so like it's the global Freedom Fam Jam, and it's one of the things where we were all really embarrassed that the U.S. in like the 1776 and like that was the face of the U.S. freedom movement. It's like it has to be better. You're driving people away. There's too much flippant religion. There's too much right-left division, garbage politics. They did not get it. It wasn't a right versus left thing. It's not freaking. It's not about money and like all this huge push for money, 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 money. Like just the bigger picture wasn't being seen. The freedom movement of the US was being turned into a joke. And the whole Squirrel and Ant and Lori and like all these, you know, Anarchy Princess and all these very different characters of people who had very differing views, being able to come together and unite across those differences and take out, you know, or you know, if they would have accomplished the goal of taking out that 1776 and stayed together and displayed the unity despite the differences, etc., it really would have been a shot in the arm for the freedom movement of the U.S. And you know, the worldwide fam jam was behind them, like it really were. And now with Ant going off and all his freaking drama and Lori just freaking telling lies and going crazy and slandering people, and Anarchy Princess, like yesterday she went after Mechanic Eric saying, oh, you're done in 24 hours. Like, you're picking a fight with Mechanic Eric? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, pick your fights. And Mechanic Eric and Agnes are not a good fight to pick. They're very well liked. They're very well respected. They do more for the freedom movement than Ant, Lori, and AP freaking combined. So
I think
reason,
AP
right?
I think AP was yelling at Vern. I don't think she was yelling
Oh no,
at
I watched the stream. I was on Ant's stream and watched AP freaking tell Eric that watch for her because he was done in the next 24 hours. So that piss off, Ant.
okay.
Like, what do you
All right.
expect? Like, I told you not to pick that fight, Ant. I told you many times. Like, you're picking bad fights. You're picking bad fights with the wrong people. And you know, Ant saying yesterday he was saying, "Oh, you're just here to cause drama." Like, Ant, you're one to talk about somebody showing up somewhere just to cause drama. Like, get it together, man. You talk about hypocrisy. Like, Ant's picking bad fights. He's got too many donuts in his head. Same thing with AP. Lori's not in control of her channels. So whatever. It's hard to even talk about that. Like, yeah, they're
Well,
doing bad things.
again, maybe that's the way Lori wants it, you know, and maybe that's the way Lori's comfortable with it. She's not comfortable with the technical stuff,
If
And
Lori doesn't want to be in control of her channel and her mods, that sounds good. It's just, let's make sure that everybody that's watching knows that Lori is not in control of her channel. Like,
okay, all right,
right?
but
Is that
again,
not fair? And they can go,
yeah,
they can still go there, do all their thing. I don't care, but they should know that all these things. And like
okay,
Lori's mods now are the rogue mods from Squirrel's chat, from Squirrels. Like that's who
okay.
Lori's mods are right now, are the rogue mods that Squirrel had. So have
Are
a good
there
time over at Lori's. Like,
are there are there double agents
oh,
involved?
100%. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. The people like the Dosho are trying to break up the freedom movement. They think they spell freedom with FREEDUMB, as in dumb, right? So they're not interested in the freedom movement. They're more interested in this. Some people just want to watch the world burn, and they want their entertainment and manipulate the people while they do it. And
Well,
it's just the facts. Like I've
maybe
warned.
that's not why they're doing it. Maybe they're doing it because they see it as a potential danger and want our democracy to continue instead of watching it burn. Is that a possibility?
What are you talking about?
What you said, the Doe show wants nothing but
Yeah.
to
No,
watch the
that's
country
not what I
burn.
said. I said some people want to
Okay.
watch the world burn. Some
Well,
people.
I heard the Dose show associated with it, so I just wanted to, um, I
Well,
don't think
Carl
I
Sand's the
don't
same way.
I really I don't think there are people that really want to watch it burn. I think there are people that
Oh,
want
there
to
are.
save the democracy and view that some elements of the freedom movement are potentially dangerous, such as
Like in your
1776.
country, yes. In your country, absolutely. Everywhere else
Okay.
on the planet, no. Like
Okay.
the whole rest of the planet seems to get it except the US. So it's
Okay.
yeah. There's a lot
Because
of people, including Americans, that are getting really sick and tired of it. Like I can tell you right now, there are tons of people who, even within the freedom movement, are done. They want nothing to do with 76. They want nothing to do with this freaking Ant and Lori freaking drama joke show of bullshit, lies, and manipulation that's happening and going on. They're looking at it going, there's no way we can do anything convoy related right now because it's going to be attacked and destroyed. And like people aren't going to support it. Like it's just these people, the Dosho, Ant, Lori, 1776 are literally destroying the freedom movement for sure in the US, and they're really damaging it on a worldwide level. Like I don't think a lot of Americans really understand that it's way beyond just the US. Like everybody in the globe is having these problems. It's way beyond the US, and what the US is doing is directly influencing and hurting those movements on a worldwide global scale. And there's a bunch of us that are like, enough is enough. That's it. Like we're done. Like the US is not getting the international support that it once did from the Freedom Family. Like, the Australians, Canadians, there's so many Canadians that want nothing to do with this. It's mind boggling. Like,
well, that kind of explains something because I've been getting streamed a lot in Australia, New Zealand, um, Canada, um, Hungary, the country of Hungary. So it explains a lot, I guess, because I kind of have a neutral platform here, that people are wanting to hear maybe both sides. So I appreciate you coming on. You want to, anybody you want to expose? Is there any, you want to talk about the people that are double agents, or do you want to mention anybody that's a Fed or anything like that that you might know?
um,
Anything that is going to, crash the internet on our small scale 1776 RM and opposition amoeba?
I will say there's definitely a lot of question marks. Right from before the U.S., like before the TPC ever turned a wheel, way back then, there was already lots of talk and and within a lot of groups about infiltration in the U.S. freedom movement. You know, we're going to have some in every movement, but I think the U.S. freedom movement was infiltrated, and it was kind of like a controlled opposition right from the very start and right from the get-go. And I think there's more than one Fed in there. I have no proof, so I would never name any names because I can't prove anything. I'm not going to be like Mutt and just spew wild accusations because I can think them up. Any idiot can do that. But instinct, or whatever you want to call it, I feel that, but there's no proof of it. So I guess other people would probably have that knowledge. I'm in Canada. There's only so much I'm not in Washington with these people, like attending these events to have interactions with all the people on a personal basis. And I don't have enough information to even begin to make any kind of attempts at that.
All right. I just know people, people want to know. They've been asking.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, absolutely.
Okay.
Ask me any questions you want, man. I'm all good.
All right. One final one here.
Sure.
Hang on, I got to get back up to it because it's come through multiple times. And crap, what's wrong with my fingers?
Goodness. What is with you guys and your thing with pedos? Like, yes, Marcus Kopic, level 3, registered sex offender with 1776. I literally just said, didn't want anything to do with 1776. They're bad. Totally against them, pushing people away from the movement, freedom movement worldwide. Yippee freaking ding. You've made your point. Pedos over and over again. That's all you have. You do not say freedom in any way, shape, or form, Lori Arnold. You're just spamming the chat with pedos over again because you're not in control. You need this for content, and that's all you know. You don't know the freedom movement or anything like that. You're being controlled by background things. So,
well, Lori doesn't. Lori doesn't.
And Lori just flooding the chat, spamming it with pedos. Like, honestly, if I was a mod, I would time them out for sure.
No, I don't consider
from
them.
This, I know you just lost your wrench.
I don't consider them spamming the chat. We kind of have as close to a free speech chat as we can have here. So, all right.
But this last one, you just lost your wrench. Go ahead.
Ask him if he realizes how absurd it is to think Hitler was a Zionist, and ask him who did 9/11. So this is a good one to end on.
That's obviously Carl, and I'm not going to get your channel in trouble by talking about those things on your channel. I have already stated in this interview that I will talk about those things on another channel, on my channel, and Carl can come. If Carl was a man, he can put his camera on and join the StreamYard link and come and ask me that question man to man. If he wants to come out of the shadows and slink and slither out of the shadows and hide from, come out of hiding from his anonymity. So there you go, Carl. You want an answer to that question? Come talk to me about it.
Okay, there you go, Carl. But I understand people. I've been a public person on a small scale for a long time, and it's no big deal to me. But I understand people wanting to keep their anonymity, especially.
Well, I'm out here wearing my real name, showing my face.
I know. Yeah,
like I'm putting myself out there. I'm not hiding like the people that are manipulative and controlling other people, right? So just some food for thought.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll see if we can't have you back on here again sometime.
Yep. If you have something you want to follow up on, my email.
All right.
Easy to get a hold of. You have my channel. I put myself out there. Real name, real person, real truth. So freedom.
All right. Thank you, man. That was Brett Boyle. And I don't know. Okay, the chat's still rolling along here. So I'll do a quick wrap up. For those that have just recently joined, we started talking about the fact that the squirrels were caught in a major traffic jam due to some water causing damage to the roads. And they have they are okay. Lori Arnold is okay. As you know, Lori and Ant are in the chat. I'm not sure who else is. It has been going by relatively quickly. Apologize for not getting to everybody's questions. And um, if anybody has anything you want to know here before or anything to say, okay. Lot of opinions tonight, and I enjoy that. So the squirrels are okay. The defender of ants was not served with anything. It appears 1776 might be coming to Indiana, at least temporarily. But according to Just a Lazy Gamer, they are officially out of Washington, D.C. Um, and that was, that was pretty much our we learned defender of ants, man. I said it a long time ago when I first did a thing featuring them. Incredibly quick-witted. I'm going to be honest with everybody. I have not watched the Doe Show. Again, I have absolutely nothing against the Doe Show or anyone associated with that or anyone. I really, honestly, I keep this show in the middle. I try to stay as neutral as possible because people need a place of neutrality to come and talk. And sometimes it's hard not to jump in and, um, but I try to let people talk, and I hope you appreciate that. Even though we may not always agree with everything that's said by everybody, um, this is America, and people have the right to say what they want, even if they're Canadian. And I respect Brett for coming on here. And if you want to come on here, neutrality is overrated. I understand that, Max Flower, but in order to be effective in this aspect of journalism, you have to try to stay neutral. I don't when I'm not on the show, but for purposes of the show, I really do try to. But I understand what you're saying. CNA Productions, thank you, man. I try real talk, and thank you for coming on the time you did. I had forgotten to mention, and anything ever happens that you need to let me know about and come on here, you're always welcome. All of you are. Um, I'm not sure who that was intended to. I really do. I honestly try, and because I think we need it on a big scale too. I think there should be a platform that even the United Nations should be a platform where countries can come and talk about crap and not go to war, but it's not even close to that. And we need a place where both sides can talk, because as long as we're talking, it's a lot harder to fight. And last thing I want is to see anything happen to anybody, and especially this country. So Polish has a crush on me. Uh, I Doofus, can I say something? Absolutely, GA from CA. Say whatever you would like, and if it's positive, um, especially Defender of Ants. The ladies do like Defender of Ants, and he was using his whistle yesterday at one point. I was only on for a couple of minutes on his live, but he was walking through the art garden there and blowing his whistle and trying to attract Whistle Girl. But the women do like the Defender of Ants, and he's much must-watch content, just as all of the stars of the internet smash summer series, Patriots or Pedos. Season 1 was The Convoy. Season 2 was the Mall. Season 3 was um, I forget the name of the place, Bunker Hill. And season 4 was back to DC, but it may be back to Indiana. I don't know. We'll see how all this plays out. But we are going to keep reporting on it, and as well as everything else we report on. Ant's Pissy Wig multiple meltdown video was funny. I did see that after the fact, and again, defender of ants is the king of content. Right place at the right time, asking the right questions or the wrong questions, depending on how you look at it. Because as we've said on here before, one person's freedom fighter is viewed by another person as a terrorist. It just all depends which side you're on in the conflict. So, and that is metaphorically. I'm using that metaphorically. So, Doofus, you are old enough to be DOA's mom. I don't know. I'm not. I'm the wrong sex to be DOA's mom, but I don't know. I'm probably old enough to be DOA's dad. Doofus, notice Wizzy has been quiet since then. I did notice that. I have noticed that, and Wizzy was upset, I think, because it appeared that the truckers that were coming to DC did not want to have anything to do with 1776 movement. So he appeared disappointed by that, and then he got triggered by Ant and Anarchy Princess. And by the way, I saw it. I think I saw it on Anarchy Princess's stream instead of Ant's stream. But I think Anarchy Princess was yelling at Vern. I didn't think she was yelling at Eric the mechanic. And people give Eric the mechanic a hard time for, it seems like he tries to stay in the middle of that particular thing. I try to stay in the middle between the right and the left. And again, as far as the channel goes, that's what we try to do. Also question some of Brett's facts. Many people blocked Wizzy, so he can't really talk about it using other people in their platforms either. Polish Agnes. I'm not, is Polish Agnes in here? I don't, I try to have as open a chat as possible. But talking about people that, that aren't there to defend themselves, I'm not saying you can't do it. Lisa Hurley, good night. Hope everyone has a great night, she says, and wish the same to you. Okay. I-75 bridge collapsed due to the flooding. Yes. Yeah. Portion of I-75 was at American Doofus link. I'll take 3 minutes. Sure. Absolutely. Because it's up at the top of the chat, but the top of the chat is probably way, way up there. There we go. No, questioning facts doesn't equate to hate. No. Oh. Easily distracted says definitely not time to stay in the middle. Here we go. And
Yeah.
yes, we got you. Hello.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm
Never
doing
mind.
well, thank you.
Never mind. That was a rough night for you, huh?
Oh
I wanted,
no.
I wanted to give you a positive spin on all of this if I could.
Absolutely.
So, there are 12 to 18 of us who have been around in Ant, AP, Lori, Squirrels originally, JMet, following Von Michelle right about now, that have kind of been brought together by BTM Sparky. We've created actual relationships. I have a new BFF. I'm 61 years old and I have a new BFF that I met on the internet. There's my girl, Cunning Stunt. I wanted to
That's awesome.
we didn't care. Our relationship separate from watching this was not is about us. We talk about the sex abuse and things like that, but we were brought together not by quote a freedom movement, but by removing the pedophiles and or the people that were protecting them, shutting them down for that singular reason. Freedom movement didn't have anything to do with it. Kind of all of the streamers that we were watching, the reason they could bring Ant and Lori and AP and JMet and the others together when they all have such different political views was because of the pedophiles. So and that's all I want to say about the streamer part of it. So one day AP had a particularly stressful stream. And several of us connected by message in that stream and then connected with BTM Sparky, and now we have a place. We're still watching and supporting and backing, the counter protesters, but we have this relationship now that is so incredibly positive for most of us that it makes no sense. We got these great friendships and this wonderful safe place to talk out of a complete shit show.
Hey, something good comes out of everything.
I feel blessed and incredibly lucky every single day. And actually, I think it was watching you. Say that again. I missed it.
Watching me?
Watching you that I connected with Sparky. I didn't know
Oh.
Sparky before that one night that you had her on.
Oh, awesome.
I know.
Oh, I'm glad I got to play a small part.
You did. You really did. And we come over here. That's where you see all the popcorn.
Oh, the Popcorn Patrol.
We're the popcorn squad. We pop in and out. We go. We chat.
Awesome.
We chat together. And when somebody goes live, we go. Oh, Barry's live. Dupus is
Awesome.
live. Let's go. Anyway,
Well,
I just wanted to give you a side of what we all what a lot of us see as a complete negative shit show.
I appreciate that.
Something positive that's coming out of it. I love these women. We've forged this bond in such a short period of time. And we don't 90% of the time we don't talk about anything to do with 1776.
That's awesome.
Yep. Anyway, thanks for letting me call in. I know you've had a long show, but I just felt like I needed people to know that there was actually something positive that came out of this.
Okay. We appreciate it. GA from CA. Always welcome here.
Thank
And
you, Barry.
all right. See you next time.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Just Here popped on here and then disappeared. Just Here, if you want to come on, hop back on here real quick. If you got some information. Okay. There he is.
Hey, doofus.
And come on. There we go.
How you doing,
What's
Doofus?
going on? I'm doing all right, man. What's going on?
Well, first, I-75 was closed because of a bridge failure due to flooding. It wasn't because of a dam breaking.
Okay. That information, as I said, they were, they got that information from the CB radio network. So,
Yeah. No, I looked it up to verify the information. It was a bridge that broke, and they're rerouting everybody around it because of the flooding took out a bridge.
okay. All right. Good. All
And I'm
right.
sitting here watching your chat and watching these YouTubers go at each other, and it's like, seriously, this is exactly what the government wanted everybody to do.
You want to expand on that for a couple of moments?
They don't want everybody to work together because if people actually came together, the government's screwed, and they know it. So they want the division.
Yeah. Okay.
They really do, and it's showing right here. You got YouTubers that run their own channels digging at each other, and I've been sitting here watching. It's like, this is ridiculous.
Did you ever see the movie Warriors?
Yes.
From the 70s, where the guy's clicking the pop bottles, he's going, Warriors, come out to
Yes.
play. At the beginning of that, he's talking about how if we all unite, the power, we do have the power, can you dig it? And yeah, if our country, if the people of our country could unite for the good of all, we could make some drastic changes.
The saddest part about all of it is they're all fighting for the same damn thing, but yet they want to fight
Supposedly.
each other.
Yeah. All right.
If you're going to fight for freedoms, don't fight each other. Come together, fight for freedoms, and piss off the government and take care of the problems. Quit fighting each other. All you're doing is just adding more divide.
I agree with you, man. I totally agree with that. They shot Cyrus. Yes. Yes. It was Cyrus that said, can you take it? All right, man.
A good example is look what's going on in Florida right now. People in Florida are coming together to help each other. They don't care what side of the aisle they're on. They're helping each other.
Right. Yeah.
We need to do the same thing about this damn government. We need to come together.
Hold on a second. I got to clear something up. I don't mean it. I don't mean unite with pedos, Lori. No, and we're not taking anything away with you and Ant and Squirrel or whoever's fighting pedos. Okay, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about on a big scale.
No, and the only problem I have with what Ant and Lori are doing, they're saying the wrong name. Marcus is gone, but Patch is still there. Start talking Patch.
Okay, that's the advice.
He's still there.
Okay, Jeff, I'm sorry, shit.
Go ahead.
Just here. Where is there?
Patch is with the 1776 Restoration Movement. What's left of it? He
Where,
is one of
where
the
are
ones
they?
that filed a restraining order against Ant and Lori.
Oh, okay. Where are they? Have they left the DC area, as Just a Lazy Gamer said?
They are headed to Indiana to work with Indiana Bob to try getting the Indiana chapter set up and running.
Okay. So they are coming to Indiana.
I'm not in Florida anymore. I left there this afternoon and I'm back home.
Okay.
We rotated out with a new team.
Okay. I appreciate you being on here.
But I just want to let everybody know about the bridge.
All right. And that'll be washed out for a while. There'll be some hazards there for a while.
According to the Florida Highway Patrol, the bridge is gone. So it's going to take them a while for the plane to go down so they can check the structures and see what they need to do to even rebuild it. So they're looking at a couple months.
All right. Well, thanks for being on here, and we'll see you next time, man.
You have a good one, Doofus.
All right. Indiana is my state. Yes, Lori. but that's apparently that's where they are coming. And I was told they're coming for continuing studies and for reorganization. So we'll see what that's all about. Okay. Chat's scrolling by quickly. Again, thank you all for being here. We just passed an hour and 45 minutes. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the email. If love you too, GA. If somebody's requesting to come on in response to Brett, we'll allow somebody to come on, and we'll be on tomorrow night. If nobody has requested anything, we just hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I do put notices up as to when we're going to be on. So I'll either be on tomorrow night at midnight or Sunday night at midnight, and we'll do it all again. This has been Late Night America with the American Doofus channel. Thank you, Cunning Stunt. Thank you, Freedom Ninja. Brett Boyle, thank you for being on here. Canadian Carl, you're all grifters. Oomph, thank you for being here. Thank all of you for being here. We'll see you next time, either tomorrow night at midnight or Sunday at midnight. Again, this has been Al Munson. Thank you for being on here, all of you. Max Flower, greatly appreciate you, all of you. And it's a dark world. Try to be a light. Try to be positive. And thank you, GA from CA, for giving us a little bit of positive to think about at the end. Watching people win or fail. CNA Productions, Jules, Feisty Mama, Hurricane Ian, Grant, Bunny,